Have you ever wished you could read minds? Well, get this. According to mentalist Oz Perlman, it's not some kind of magic, it's a skill, and it's one you can learn. Today, we're going to break down the secrets from his really fascinating TED Talk. Right off the bat, Perlman makes this crucial distinction. He insists he doesn't have any supernatural powers. What he has is a skill he's been working on for 30 years, reading people by, as he calls it, reverse engineering the human mind. The whole idea is pretty simple, actually. If he can figure out how you think, he can make a really good guess at what you're thinking. So, what does this reading people thing actually look like when you put it into practice? Well, in his talk, Perlman gives a pretty astounding demonstration. So, he gets a guy named Ian up on stage and asks him to just think of a famous person, anyone, dead or alive, and then, just through these little subtle observations, like Ian's body language hinting that the person isn't alive anymore, Perlman correctly guesses he's thinking of Alexander the Great. It's wild. It completely grabs everyone's attention.
And that is the craft of mentalism. It's not about being psychic. It's about applied psychology, it's about observation, and just understanding how our minds tend to work. But, how does this stagecraft actually turn into a skill that you and I can use in our real lives?
That brings us to section 2, from magic to memory. I mean, guessing celebrities is a great trick for a show, but Perlman argues that the skills underneath it all can be used for something way more practical. Perlman asks the exact question we're all thinking, and his answer is pretty blunt. It doesn't. Not really. But the skills behind it, that ability to really focus and observe, can be used to solve a much, much more common problem. Oh man, we've all been there, right? That awkward moment, like 2 seconds after an introduction, where the person's name just, poof, vanishes from your brain. Perlman says this isn't a memory failure, and he wants to give us all a kind of superpower to fix it for good. All right, section 3, a simple new superpower. Perlman promises he has a way for you to never forget a name again. And the secret to this superpower? It comes from a very, very unexpected place. That's right, shampoo. He takes this totally mundane object and somehow turns it into this masterclass on memory. He says the simple instructions on the back of the bottle, well, they hold the key. You know that classic marketing phrase, lather, rinse, repeat? He repurposes it into this amazing 3-step technique for your brain. Listen, repeat, reply. It's such a clever way to make a simple framework totally unforgettable. Okay, section 4, listen, repeat, and reply. Let's break down exactly how this 3-step method can give you that superpower of never, ever forgetting a name. Now, the process looks incredibly simple on the surface, but Perlman explains that each one of these 3 steps plays an absolutely critical role in locking a new name into your memory. This is so important. Step 1 is to listen. Perlman argues that when we forget a name, it's usually because we weren't really listening in the first place. Our mind is racing, we're thinking about what we're going to say next. So the first step is just make your mind a blank slate for 2 seconds and actually hear the name. Okay, next up, repeat the name back to them, twice. For example, Nanjera? Am I saying that right, Nanjera? This does 2 things. First, it starts to carve the name into your memory. And just as important, it makes sure you're pronouncing it correctly, which, is a huge sign of respect. And finally, step 3, reply. This is what really cements the name in your mind. You can use a compliment to create a visual link, like Ashley with the earrings. You could ask about the spelling to engage your brain in a different way. Or you can create a personal connection, even if you have to kind of invent one, just to make the name stick. But beyond this really practical technique, Perlman shares something deeper, a much more powerful principle that is really the foundation for all of his success. People always want to know if he's scared of failing on stage. And the answer is, yeah, of course. Unlike a card trick that's going to work every single time, what he does has real risk involved. The audience can feel that tension. It's part of the performance. And this leads to his main message. Perlman says the number 1 factor for success, whether you're on a stage or just in life, is having an unshakable, self-fulfilling belief that you will succeed. And to prove this isn't just about him, he brings an audience member named Brett on stage. He has another man, Jeff, write down the name he's thinking of. And with nothing but encouragement and belief from Perlman, Brett looks at Jeff and correctly guesses Barack Obama. It's an absolutely incredible moment. And that leaves us with the final, most powerful idea of all. The techniques are useful, for sure, but belief, that's the key that unlocks your potential. So the real question isn't whether you can read minds, it's what could you achieve if you truly, unshakably believed in yourself.